Hey YouTube, Film Geek here. Today I'm talking about the 1986 film Haunted Honeymoon.
Holy smokes. You mean you grew up in this place?
I learned to ride a bicycle in this room.
Oh, that guy gives me the willies.
Be nice to him, honey. I know he seems a little strange, but he's perfectly normal.
Well, what'll I talk about?
Talk about a minute. That'll be enough.
Haunted Honeymoon is written and directed by Gene Wilder. It's starring Gilda Radner, Dom DeLuise, and Gene Wilder. Haunted Honeymoon is the story of two radio show actors who go to Larry, played by Gene Wilder. He goes to his family reunion. While at this family reunion, Larry's uncle has taken it on himself to put together an elaborate prank to try to scare the hell out of Larry. You see, Larry suffers from some major trauma. When he was a child, something terrible happened during a storm. So every time that Larry hears storm sounds, he starts to have these problems. He starts to kind of fade out, talk funny, just strange. He starts to act strange. So in order to help him out, his uncle has set up this huge, elaborate prank to try to scare the hell out of Larry. Filmed on a budget of $9 million, Haunted Honeymoon unfortunately didn't do so great at the box office, only earning $8 million. And unfortunately, the movie did so poorly in theaters, it was actually removed from theaters after its first week. But it was rushed on to services like HBO and video to try to recoup some money from the making of this film. And that's how I saw this movie. This was one of those family favorites growing up. I remember my sister Becky and I watching this movie every chance we got when it came on HBO. Of course we taped it, and there was a VHS copy down in the basement, and we watched it constantly. This was just one of those movies that we really liked. It's a good little family horror movie. Unfortunately, Haunted Honeymoon is the last appearance of Gilda Radner in a film. You see, in 1989, Gilda Radner passed away of ovarian cancer and left a huge empty spot in comedy. Gilda Radner was an absolute comedy legend. If you're not familiar with Gilda Radner, she was a founding member of Saturday Night Live. She started the TV show back in 1975, and she stayed there for quite some time. Gilda Radner was a comedy legend. She is a female comedy icon and broke through tons of barriers for women in comedy. Haunted Honeymoon also marks the last time that Gene Wilder will take up the directorial chair. This was his final movie that he directed. He was in a few more movies after this one, but after the death of Gilda, who he was married to at the time, he just kind of stopped making movies. So what do I like about this movie? Well, first off, it's a great family horror movie. Less horror, more comedy. It will have a little bit of scares in it, nothing that's too awful scary, period, at all, but it does have enough that it would get maybe a little jump scare out of a kid. So this movie is perfect to put on during the Halloween season. Also too, what movie starring Gene Wilder would be complete without a musical number? And yeah, there's a musical number in this movie. I'm not quite sure why. When I go back and watch the movie as an adult, I just don't know why that scene even exists. I don't know if it's there to try to show that the relationship between Larry's aunt, who's played by Dom DeLuise, is it like a bonding experience for the two of them? Like, hey, look, they're becoming good friends. They're doing a song and dance together. I've never understood that scene as an adult. Now, as a kid, I loved it. I loved it. Every time it came on, my sister and I would sing the song and so on and so forth. But man, watching it now, I'm just like, so what's happening? Sadly, this movie is almost forgotten. I couldn't find it on any streaming services, any rental services. It looks like the only way you can watch this movie is on DVD. Okay guys, that brings us to the end of another Film Geek video. Thanks again for checking things out. If you liked what you saw here today, please hit that like. And if you want to help me out on the channel, just subscribe. That's the best way that you can help me out right now. I'm trying to build my subscriptions up, so if you want to, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for checking things out, guys. And as I like to say, keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.